This is Max Shravarvan, student ID TRE1600-3622. Is Applied Psychology Assignment 1 and it is Roles of a Sports Psychologist. So, firstly, a sports psychologist is someone who understands behaviour and understands the theories of behaviour, particularly surrounding athletes. Knowing this information, they then use a range of techniques to implement into an athlete's game in order to improve their weaknesses and help them improve as an athlete. So there are three roles of a sports psychologist, which are the research role, education role and consultancy role. So starting with the research role. In the research role, it is a psychologist's job to look at the field they are studying and to see if they can develop any of the ideas and theories that currently exist. They do this by conducting experiments and interviews, analysing results, and presenting their findings in journals. Scholars have investigated the effects of motivation, imagery, and mental rehearsal and how arousal levels can be regulated. This shows that ideas and theories are being built on in order to find the most accurate theory for the specific area of interest, which reflects how the theory actually happens in real sport. The advantage of this is that the more they learn about different theories behind sports psychology, the more they can implement it into athletes' games and enhance their performance and improve it so that they're better when they play and there's more psychological factors removed. The education role. As a part of the education role, the sports psychologist will teach his findings to others. This may be players, coaches and staff or students in an institution, which is most commonly a university. At a university, the psychologist will teach this as a module or a course. Some will teach general psychology, whereas other psychologists will teach it in a more specific way, which can be applied to sports. Specific sports, that is. It is important that this education role happens because it means that other people can learn from the psychologist's findings and apply it to their learning, or if it is a coach, they can apply it to their teams and try to use it to help their players, meaning that they can perform better in games and get more results and then be more successful as a team. So the consultancy role. The consultancy role involves working with athletes to provide them with skills and techniques in order to enhance and improve their performance. This will sometimes be available full-time, which is mainly in the elite level as it's professional, and also the feedback will be used with the coaching team to help with the team's physical training as well. Furthermore, there are 5 different areas within the consultancy role. So these are dealing with injury, team building, lifestyle management, coach education and performance enhancement. So dealing with injury. This will be to deal with people who are recovering from injury, as when athletes are injured they deal with many problems as they aren't out on the pitch and doing what they love. Therefore, psychologists will have to offer counselling to the athletes in order to address and try to improve their lack of confidence. This may be due to the fact that they have been out for a while and therefore they have a confidence barrier as they think that their skills may be a lot worse than before the injury. Also, they must ensure the athlete is dealing with depression and anxiety well, as if they aren't playing their sport, they may start to feel lonely and down about the fact that they aren't playing and that they can't play. As well as this, they will begin to feel more anxious because they may be worried about how long they will be out for, or if they are going to be as good as before the injury. Lastly, they must develop realistic goals for the athlete to complete to provide a steady platform for them to come back to. For example, if the rehab plan is too intense too quick, and then it may cause more damage than good to the athlete, as their bones or muscles, whichever was injured, will have been weakened as they haven't been using it over time, and therefore they cannot withstand as much as before the injury. Team building. The role of the psychologist in this is to analyse the team and provide them with feedback on the positives and negatives on the dynamics of the team. During this analysis, they will also create a common goal for the team and an identity which they can build more as a team and work better together. This will help the team, as if they work better together, they are more likely to get better results and win more games, which may eventually lead to championships and trophies for the team as they win leagues and cups. Moreover, the psychologist will help to identify leaders, which may be prescribed or emerging. An emerging leader is where a player may take a lead role in the team, and therefore the team and coaches may appoint them as a leader. A prescribed leader is where a player is just chosen to be the leader or captain. The emerging leader is a better alternative because the player will be a natural leader as they are shown it and come through, whereas a prescribed leader will just be chosen and therefore they may not be an actual natural leader. This may result in the team performing more poorly as there isn't that natural leader to keep them together and keep them moving forward. Also, an emerging leader may be someone who rises from the group and is therefore more popular in the group, and they will be more confident with it. This means that more players may listen to them, meaning the team dynamics are much better. This is better than prescribed leader, as they may choose a leader who isn't popular amongst the team, and therefore the team will be more reluctant to listen to them, meaning the team won't play as well together and there'll be more disputes. Lifestyle management. This is where the psychologist will help the athlete to manage their lifestyle outside of their sport. This may be what they do in between training, work, travelling, eating, sleeping, relaxing, and relationships. This will help the athlete to deal with all things in life, whether it be competitive or non-competitive. This is good, as if this isn't there, and then the athlete cannot cope, and then they may start to become depressed, stressed, or just more tired and drained. This could affect their performance because it means that they won't have the same drive or passion for sport, as there are many other things going on in their life which they can't get control of. Furthermore, if they are drained or tired from all of the things going on in their life, then it may reflect in their performance as they are more tired and can't play for as long in the game. For example, before they may have been able to play a full match, but as a result of not being able to cope with all aspects of life, they may only be able to play 60 minutes of a game. Coach education. This is where the sports psychologist will educate coaches on psychological skills, so the coaches know how their players may respond to feedback or how they may be motivated. Also, they support the coaches, as the coaches may need a sports psychologist themselves, as there may be pressure on their job due to a poor run of form, or they may also be struggling with lifestyle management. The coach may need a sports psychologist in order to deal with their own mental health, as there is as much, if not sometimes more, pressure on a coach to provide results than it is for a player to perform. For example, if a manager pushing for a high spot in the Premier League is losing games his team shouldn't be losing, he will come under the most scrutiny as he is the one who sets up the team that needs to get the results. Furthermore, the coach needs the psychologist in order to know how to manage their players, as if they don't know, and then they may struggle when trying to get their player to perform. For example, a manager may give a player negative criticism in order to make them play better, when really the player may respond negatively to that criticism and start to play worse and turn against the manager. Performance enhancement. This is where the sports psychologist will help the performer to prepare for performance, cope with the demands during the performance, and to help them reflect positively on their performance. The performance of the performer is their potential performance minus their psychological interference, and that's the actual performance which is being worked out. This means that any psychological interference like anxiety or a lack of confidence will have a negative effect on their potentially best performance to give their actual performance. The role of the sports psychologist in this equation is to eliminate any of the psychological interferences to help the athlete to perform as close to their potential as possible. This is an important role because without the role of the psychologist, they are more likely to perform at a lot lower level than their potential, as they can't control or eliminate any of the psychological interferences, meaning they have an effect on the athlete. With the psychologist, more of these will be eliminated, which will benefit their performance because they will be free to play without as many interferences and they can play their own game to their maximum potential.